Richard Moore, United States Anti-Gang Stalking Association, and I am at Walgreens in Tupelo, Mississippi, Cross Town, which is a rather busy intersection. But I'm doing this video today in regards to a recent visit to Walgreens. And this how this squarely dovetails with the community policing PAL program, an acronym for perverts always lurking. So when I make unflattering statements about certain individuals, especially this program, well, they tend to retaliate, show themselves in force. So on the 30th of September, I was at this Walgreens to get a prescription filled, and in this parking lot, of course, the stalkers know ahead of time. And what main reason is one of their frontline crash dummy perps had already let them know where I was going, so they're already in the store waiting. Now, the community policing as a whole, on its face, it's a legal program. What they're doing actually is not legal, and this is where people tend to miss the point of what I'm talking about. And this is something that hadn't been talked about enough, but I'm going to do more and talk about it this time. So as on the 30th, when I get out, I park over here in this vicinity right here, and I see a parade of vehicles coming through, prominently marked on the rear of their vehicle with a Masonic emblem. So I've obviously irritated the satanic pedophile cult, the Masonic Fraternal Order of the Masons. Now, and Eastern Star. That's and of course they have the white Masons, the black Masons, and it's segregated. And the Dirty South is still alive and very much well. So as I get ready, I park and just start going into, and I start doing some filming. And I'm recording the stalkers. I mean, all the theater of driving through, mean mugging and gritting on me and everything else. So I get into the store, and I mean to tell you, never seen this many people lining up at the counter where you get your prescriptions filled. Only one person is taking that stuff, and I mean, it was full of people, and they were just checking out. I noticed that several of them had nothing to do with the prescription. They were getting a bag of peanuts, in other words, they were intentionally clogging the lineup. So we had the theater going on in the parking lot, and then as I continued into the store, the theater continued in there, and I'm getting this extra uncalled for long wait. I finally dropped my prescriptions off and informed them that I would sit there and wait. Well, I stayed in the store about 10 or 15 minutes, and of course people just keep walking by, behind me, in front of me, and just, it was obvious, overweight black women with house shoes on and big fat white men waddling in there that were, of course, Masons. By the most part, they were Masons. Well, I noticed this 60, 70-year-old, 200-pound overweight man whispering something to the cashier in her ear, and then he said out loud, said, well, he just throws something out there, and that's the directed conversation to let you know that conversation is about the target. Of course, now for the community perverts, he's just paranoid. No, this is something that's well documented. So about 45, 50 minutes later, I leave the store, by the way. I come back out the parking lot and I do some more filming. And I go back into the Masons are still out here swarming around. You know, that's their intimidation. I don't know what they think they're doing, but I could care less who they think they are, what they call themselves. It is no secret. There's no such thing as being a Mason and a born-again Christian. It's an oxymoron. It's impossible. You can't. That's two different religions, okay? That's two different belief systems. So whatever lie you're telling, they love this secret, operating in this secrecy and all of this stuff. And so, you know, this is the makeup of a lot of people in law enforcement, on the bench, and district attorneys, always down the line. They're deeply embedded in the system, which is not, let me stress here, it's not that we may have a bad apple or two. It is a culture of blue lies, corruption. Now, I go back into the store, and there's another 200-pound overweight Mason whispered again. This girl's there, and I'm like, what the? And she says, can I help you? Well, I mean, I'm not that forgettable. You know, she did. That was the very person I gave my prescriptions to. She said, oh, let me check. Now, at this point, you can tell that she's got an edge, an attitude. They've been in her ear. We know this is a staple of community perverts out policing, is smear tactics, gossip campaigns, backstabbing, betrayal, and lies upon lies upon lies upon lies. And so everybody has to play their part. God forbid that the chief or the sheriff be disappointed in them. So she goes to the pharmacist. He's within 7 or 8 feet of me. And I didn't see her talk to anybody. She comes back, she said, Mr. Moore, when I gave your prescriptions to the pharmacist, he forgot to scan them in. So it's just been sitting there this whole time. If you don't mind waiting, they're gonna fill it now. I said, really? He forgot to scan them in. Now he's sitting there looking at his computer and keying, you know, but he's just a few feet from me. And I said, well, let me talk to him. I'm getting a little irritated, and they could tell. Of course, I'm sure they anticipated that. I'm sure the secret whisperers told them that I'm somewhat of a firecracker sometimes when I get hot. But I didn't. I said, well, let me speak to him. He didn't. And let me tell you, folks, I could be standing in the middle of a football stadium and talking, and you could hear me. So it's not that my voice doesn't carry. It's the fact is he didn't want to talk to me. He absolutely ignored me. I said, okay. So finally they get the prescription and stuff, and I get them, and I mean, she, you know, you have if you enter your phone number, you get points on your Walgreens thing, and she was going through it so quick, and just had the best way I could phrase that is a example of an asshole-ish attitude. And I get my prescriptions and I leave, and I think about it for 24 hours. I go back the next day right here to this Walgreens. The assistant pharmacy manager is there, and so I'm discussing it. Now the girl that took all the whisper that was in on all that, I said, let me explain something to you. We got a problem. I says, I was here yesterday. I was documenting the stalkers and community policing out here buzzing and doing the theater in the parking lot, and carried on into the store. I'm here to get medications that I take for anxiety and PTSD. I have that because of these criminals. Now, one would expect that the pharmacy would be able to take a higher ground and not exploit someone that is on medication. They know what I'm on medication for, but they exploited me as a patient, as a customer, as a human being, and played right into that and had no qualms, no issues with exploiting someone with a disability. And of course, the ADA, American Disability Act, speaks on this behavior. And of course, my civil and constitutional rights were in fact violated of my inalienable right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I said, I need the guy's name. Well, he's not here. He's just a fill-in. You know, they travel around. And so they're looking on the computer, and they said, well, I don't know who filled it. I said, do you have to have a license to be a pharmacist? Well, yes. Well, is it not mandatory that whoever dumps the pills in the bottle, that you know who did it in the event that they get the wrong medication and they drop dead? Wouldn't it be a requirement for Walgreens, if the state of Mississippi, don't they require the license, if he is licensed, to put their name on? His name wasn't on the bottle, and they couldn't find the name in the computer, or could they? I don't know. Sounds like gaslighting to me. So she gives me the name of the pharmacy manager. You need to speak with him. Last name is Dallas, or first name Dallas. I have no idea. And okay. Now this rolls into to Monday. Now I've called Monday and Tuesday, and I get some lady on there that said the store manager. I said, I need to speak to the pharmacy manager. Well, I'm the store manager. How can I help you? I said, no, I need to speak to the pharmacy manager. Well, I'm the store manager. How can I help you? I told her that 4 times. I made it very clear. It won't speak to her. There's a difference between a pharmacy manager and a store manager. Again, we've got the gaslighting, the theater, and drag the victim. I said, I'm not going to say it again. I've told you 4 times who I need to speak with. And then she responded, you can't make this stuff up, folks. She responded, well, who is it you want to speak with? Of course, now, finally, what she had been campaigning for, she got it. And believe me, she got a whole lot more. I said the 5th time, and called her everything but a child of God, which I should have done that on the 1st time. I'm a grown up. My money is being spent right here. Now, not only have you wasted my time, and all of you have participated in crimes committed against me and become a culpable player in crimes committed against me, you're continuing to drag this because your go-to person has already told you. Now, look, this guy, they've given you the rundown on how to treat me. Well, I'm giving you the rundown on how I answer and respond to that. Victims realize that when they shop and they're going into grocery stores or convenience stores, that they're treated differently. Maybe at one time it was just real nice and cordial, but now all of a sudden, they just treat you different. Well, what's going on with that? I'll tell you what's going on with that. Somebody's already got in their ear with a rumor, smear tactics, told them how bad of a person you are, not to be friendly, don't encourage them to come back, all this kind of stuff. This is their staple, folks, to make life miserable for the victim, to absolutely deny their civil and constitutional rights. So we got this stalker here, PN2 1060, Pontotoc County. So we got heavy duty 500 pounds of stacked bullshit driving that red truck. Now, so this is how the deal works. So needless to say, I couldn't get, so I left a message later that day with an individual at the store. He said, well, Dallas, he's already gone for the day. I said, well, you give him this message. This has gone from a situation to something that is a very, very serious situation. It's been serious all along, but now they've escalated it by continuing doing what they're doing. I said, you get a message to him to call me. If he does not call me, he will regret it. Make sure you give him that message. It's important that he calls me. This is not going to go away. He better call me. Well, he didn't call me. The next day, didn't call me. I waited till 3 p.m. and finally called and got him on the phone. And here comes Captain Lord Ass again. He just waved and I flipped his fat ass off. That's how we get down here. And hey, and if you don't like it, you can stop. Because I tell you what, there's a lot of things I've got, and it's a forward and several speeds. But I don't have no backup in me. So at any rate, as the perverts out here, they're aware of what I'm doing. They're not liking it. And I care. I'm really concerned about that. But at any rate, he says, I got a text message on my personal phone that somebody called. Oh, so you're special, and somehow you've been inconvenienced by a text message on your personal phone by a store employee to get in touch with me. Now, the professional high ground to take is, so obviously there's a situation. Let me find out what's going on and de-escalate whatever may be going on. A. B, he already knew what was going on and had no intentions of calling me back, not even that night or the next day. And so as I proceed to explain to him what happens, he starts talking over me. So apparently he's already has his story. He's got his tale. He's got his narrative. And that's the way these clowns are. They have a narrative. They have a very small mind, a small playbook, but what they're doing, to me, they're doing it to victims all over this nation, and it's not just Walgreens or Walmart. It is pay to play. And the ones that play get the benefit. They get the benefit. And I'm telling you what are these benefits? There's so many of these community organizations that are getting, including law enforcement, federal grant money. And they have to have checks and balances of what they're doing with this federal grant money. And they use this federal taxpayer money to torture, stalk, and drive a victim to total annihilation, to reduce them from something to absolutely nothing. The end game from the victim is death, self-implosion by suicide, or if they can't get that done, they will violate Title 18, USC 242, 241 colors, crimes committed under color of law. They'll do it all day long. But being that these players, these people involved with community policing, are acting as state actors, and they too fall under this criminal code, which can be pursued civilly and criminally in a federal court, and this is exactly where this will be addressed. Now, so it was turned into a screaming match. He was telling me how he was going to disconnect I never, ever got an opportunity to articulate my discomfort with their participation, and they have my prescriptions there. And now we have, the water has been muddied. Can I trust Walgreens with my medication? Can I trust them with something that may or may not affect my health adversely? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So gone is the Hippocratic oath. Gone with the patient's health, and that should come first. When it comes to something this serious, including doctors' offices and of course our mental health professionals, all of these people participating in this holistic form of community policing where everybody does their part. This is a dangerous and very criminal, slippery slope, my friends. Well, you've got Walgreens, and people look there, well, we get the COVID shots here, and we get this to good people, it's a national chain, they're responsible. members of corporate society. That is BS. They are participating just as much as the pedophiles, Masonic pedophiles, the drug dealers, the child and human trafficking, which, by the way, Tupelo, Mississippi is a hotbed for this behavior. Crime pays. This is what keeps the wheel greased. That's what keeps the judicial system backed up. Attorneys and judges and build prisons and jails. It's a money-making deal. So what if the law enforcement official, the cop, the frontline cop, when he takes an oath, that was the first lie he told officially, that everything he said after that is a lie. They have to be considered first and foremost as absolute career liars. Hands down. They lie. It's okay to lie. They lie to get their cases. That's accepted in court. It's not thrown out because they were untruthful. This is a well-known fact. So I'm going to call it what it is, folks, and that's what it is. So what's the next step for Walgreens and Cross Town and Walgreens as a whole? Well, I'm going to explain to you what the next step is. The wheel's already in motion for an ADA complaint with through the Department of Justice. Whether they do anything or not makes no difference. The complaint's going to be made. The Mississippi a board that licensed pharmacists, they too will get a carbon copy of this complaint, and there's no need in sending it to the Attorney General's office. Believe me, Attorney General Lynn Fitch is just as culpable as anybody else. And I quote, as it pertains to any complaints you have, they told me, they had me on speakerphone, Lynn Fitch in the room, as it pertains to complaints that you have regarding law enforcement violating your civil and constitutional rights, we are not interested in looking at it. In other words, they didn't want to hear any facts, see any evidence, didn't want to hear it. Lynn Fitch took an oath to defend the Constitution, to represent, not for some Mississippians, but for all. But it's changed. It's changed. It's many correspondence I've had with that office, all to no avail. Other victims can absolutely relate to what I'm telling you. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith sent her a message this morning. It's not the first message I've sent her. Governor Tate Reeves, not the first time he's received messages from me. Yeah, it's not as if they have asked him, well, just, sit down and show us what you got, let us look at it. No, they can't say, well, it has no merit. You can't base any of your asinine decisions on the fact that there's no merit. If you haven't looked at the facts or evidence, then how would you know if there was any merit? FBI? How would you know that? Because you already know what the deal is. We're going to absolutely isolate these people and dismiss them and marginalize them and keep doing what we're doing, because too many people have got mud on their shoes. We're going to dig our heels in, and you know what? We're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. That's the reason the sheriff of Lee County is named in a federal lawsuit right now. And private state actors, not private citizens, they're state actors. They're all part of the deal. They're named in it. And I'm going to keep doing that relentlessly. As far as these retailers that want to participate in this, Walmart, anybody else, I'm going to continue to document. I hadn't been doing enough of it, but there will be more to come. I'm going to keep putting these people on blast for their crimes. This could be your mother, your dad, your grandparents, one of your children that's coming into this resale establishment, and absolutely they capitalize on your perceived vulnerability. This is Walgreens doing that. Not some nameless person on the street. We're talking about the bad actors, the bad players, those that are involved in community policing, corrupt criminals, Walgreens, the pharmacist, And these people have participated and bought in to this deal here in Tupelo, Mississippi. So that's it. You can like my channel, share it. It's United States Anti-Gang Stalking Association. Also, North Mississippi Anti-Gang Stalking. U.S. Anti-Gang Stalking on Quora, Gab, Instagram, Twitter. It's not hard to find us. I'm totally viewer supported, so appreciate your support. We have GoFundMe up, and if you would like, you can also become a Patreon. I've just started that, and I welcome your feedback. Until next time, God bless you.